Hello and welcome to Rendy Reviews, where I, Rendy Jones, review the latest in film and television. Alright, enough of that. Today we are reviewing Sing 2, because Illumination always keeps making a shit ton of money with each original thing that they do, so everything's prompted for a sequel. Give me one non-Dr. Seuss Illumination movie that hasn't gotten a sequel yet.
Put your hand down.
Yeah, that's what I thought. In this second installment of Illumination's musical franchise, the ever-optimistic koala Buster Moon and his all-star cast of performers including Rosita, Ash, Johnny, Meena, and Gunter prepare to launch their most dazzling stage extravaganza yet, all in the glittering entertainment capital of the world. There's only one hitch. They have to persuade the world's most reclusive lion rock legend Clay Calloway to join them. Illumination's animation quality has gotten exceedingly better throughout the years. Visually, Sing 2 is a marginal improvement from its predecessor in both production design and scope. The Illumination team goes big to give this sequel a grandiose scale. I remember from the predecessor how the backgrounds of the town Buster Moon and his animal musical performers reside in lacked any sort of pop and it was so generic looking. With this sequel being set in a Vegas type town called Red Shore City, the production design goes off the rails to make the city bustle with life. It ain't no Zootopia, but whenever the characters navigate the fast-paced lifestyle of this high-class city, it does a great job capturing the anxiety-inducing change of pace that these small-town characters aren't accustomed to. If there's anything writer-director Garth Jennings does, it's to display how his large ensemble feels like fish out of water on a large scale. Outside of the production design receiving a fantastic upgrade, I'd say this is Illumination's most beautiful film to date. Usually they have a mid-budget of 70-something million for their features, but this looks like it's at 100 due to the grand scale and amount of detail provided for their characters. The fur textures on the animals are more nourished. There are some close-up shots on these characters where you can see the fine detail on the fabric of their outfits and even the lint that tracks on them. Needless to say, Illumination's quality is top-notch, and I'm curious to see how they'll visually craft their upcoming Super Mario movie. If they can expand their reach with their Sing sequel, I can only imagine the scope they'll take when bringing the Mushroom Kingdom to life. Yep, from a visual standpoint, Illumination can do no wrong. Everything else, on the other hand... Back in 2016, young idiot Rendy gave way too high of a rating to Sing. Yeah. While Sing ain't no 4.5 out of 5 movie by any means. Yeah, I know, shut up. I'll admit that it worked for me due to its effortless charm and meticulous set of songs to make it feel like a refreshing jukebox musical. Granted, it's very stereotypical by design, but hey, it worked. When I saw Sing 2 in the same small screening room where I saw the first film, I had a close friend by my side. When the movie ended, the first thing they said was, "Wow, that was just like Glee, but with animals." Right then and there, I stopped in my tracks, for they truly nailed the perfect description of this sequel. While Sing 2 has a larger scope and more top 40 hit songs that will make your Spotify algorithm nervous, it's such a glaringly lazy and derivative sequel that loses all the charm of the predecessor in both story and music choices. Garth Jennings, who wrote and directed the first film, had a right away of music of both past and present to accompany his story. The predecessor's soundtrack had music by the Spencer Davis Group, The Zombies, Elton John, Shocking Blues, Stevie Wonder. Heck, without saying, we probably wouldn't have Taron Egerton as Elton John in Rocket Man. You know, since his character Johnny delivered a great I'm Still Standing cover. That's kind of better than the second time Egerton did it in the Rocket Man movie. In the sequel, Jennings forgoes everything to have a completely mainstream and contemporary soundtrack full of pop songs from the 2010s sprinkled with a few U2 songs due to Bono voicing the heartbroken rock legend Clay Calloway. You got recent mainstream hits from The Weeknd, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, and Coldplay to make the music more palatable for its younger audience. In other words, it loses part of what made the predecessor stand out. These are the type of songs the producer of a Kidz Bop, or now that's what I call music album, would consider worthy. Every other scene features a music cue that's either played for laughs or to guide a scene, and given this movie's extensive runtime, it quickly becomes grating. Hardly any of the song choices stand out until the third act, where it goes all out on show-stopping musical numbers the animals put on amidst other chaos going on. There was one song that took me by surprise, but even then I looked at it condescendingly because it's a rock song that I love that was given a cotton candy pop treatment. I just couldn't stop looking at the number going, "Look at how they massacred my boy." Granted, I was sitting alone because I'm a friggin' sucker, and it did take me by surprise. But nevertheless, it was not ideal. Much like the less than inspiring song choices, the clunky and convoluted narrative is also disappointing. Once Buster and his crew head to Red Shore City and persuade media mogul wolf Jimmy Crystal to put on this extravagant sci-fi stage musical, Crystal fast tracks the production, and the movie's narrative does the same. As sequels usually do, this copies the formula of the last movie, where it opens a series of subplots with its extensive line of characters that all seem to rip off elements of far superior movies. You got Johnny the Gorilla in a step-up knockoff where he has conflicts with his abusive and prestigious dance teacher. When Johnny doesn't feel like he's good enough to be taught by him, he gets guidance from a street-performing lynx. Rosita the Pig has a starring role in the musical, but for some reason develops a fear of heights and gets replaced by Jimmy Crystal's spoiled daughter, Portia. It's a fun comment on how nepotism runs the gamut of the industry, but that subplot hardly goes anywhere. Meena the Elephant has to sing a love duet with an egotistical yak, but she never had any romantic experience in her life. Buster and Ash the Porcupine have to persuade legendary rock star Clay Calloway, who hasn't heard any of his songs, or I guess YouTube's songs. It's weird how these pre-existing songs and ownership works in this universe. In 15 years due to the passing of his wife. Oh, and Buster has to convince the most reclusive musician in the world to join their crew because he straight up lied to the mogul who greenlit his show in the first place. With all that material compacted into this nearly 2-hour long movie, none of these subplots get any proper development to make them shine. Each one is rushed in such a breezy manner that it all ends up feeling hollow. This is Illumination trying to emulate a Pixar movie without any notion of proper storytelling. The sentimentality is cranked up to a 10, but due to its lack of focus and mediocre writing, none of the story threads get to be fleshed out. Jennings' script relies on montages, chaotic action sequences, and mainstream music to keep the movie in fast motion for its young demographic. Granted, I'm glad this didn't have the nerve to do any transparent references to the movies it rips off, but you can feel the recycling in every single subplot presented. It's a shame that even the Clay Calloway narrative, which was marketed as the key emotional component of the film, is severely underdeveloped. After a few scenes between him and Ash, he easily lets his guard down and agrees to perform on the show. None of the sentimental emotions it tries to evoke in the subplots are earned, so that by the end, it all feels so soulless. What can you expect? It's Illumination. They don't care about story quality, and they made that clear ever since Minions made $1 billion. I could discuss how Sing 2 would work best for the Ryan Murphy crowd, but I could take it a step further. Sing 2 is the equivalent of watching carpool karaoke. It's literally you in the backseat watching several celebrities, some who are musicians, some who are not, do their damnedest to do karaoke to mainstream songs or something the parent company owns for cool points amongst the kids. That's why I give Sing 2 a 2 out of 5 star rating from Rendy Reviews. God, I just want to go back in time and slap 18-year-old Rendy in the face for giving Sing 4.5 out of 5 stars. Don't search for that review either. It doesn't exist. I don't know who wrote that. I don't claim it. Who's she? I don't know her. She don't exist. Goodbye. If you're watching this video post or prior to the film's release, let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with my takes? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And hey, while you're here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Or head on over to RendyReviews.com where you can find the written review of this film along with hundreds of more reviews. And hey, subscribe to our Patreon where you can get early access to written reviews, video reviews, and a bunch of other exclusive content that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, I'm Rendy Jones, and I'll see y'all next time.